I thought I was the only one, standing in my kitchen, holding a glass of wine and pretending I was okay. I was a nurse caring for dying children. I knew better, and at home, I was quietly falling apart. Welcome to Out of Her Mind podcast. I'm Kobi, Pollock, your host. Welcome back if you're joining us again, and if you're new here, I really appreciate you joining us. This is a space where we get to choose how to move forwards in our life and choose how to rewrite our own story. So I want to paint a picture for you. 4 years ago, June 2022, I was working as a nurse. I was caring for children who had life-limiting conditions or were at end of life, supporting them and their families, their siblings through that transition period. I loved my job. I was making a difference. I was that key support person for these families that needed that support, that guidance, and that connection during this time. I was also a mum with 2 young boys who were 5 and 7 at the time, and a wife, a dog mum, a friend, a daughter, and someone who had always given to others. I was also the woman who had always coped. I had mental health conditions throughout my life and always managed to find a way through, find a Band-Aid fix to keep going. I would care for everyone else and I wouldn't care for myself. It became a reoccurring theme. I can picture it now in my mind. I would finish a shift at work, and that morning I would have said to myself, I'm not going to drink tonight. So I'd finish my shift feeling exhausted, drained, and think, I just need wine to cope. I need to numb these feelings, these thoughts that I'm having. So I would leave work and I'd stop in at the bottle. I would feel so much guilt and shame around doing that. I'd actually put the wine bottle in my bag so that my kids didn't see it, although they saw me drinking at home. And I'd go and pick the kids up and we'd go home. We'd do the normal routine things after daycare, take them outside for a little bit of a play with the dogs, the chickens. And that's when I would pour a glass. I'd put them outside and I'd come inside, grab my trusty wine glass and pour the wine in. Now, there was so much guilt and shame around this. So at the time, it was the only way I knew how to cope. It was a pattern that was learnt, and it was serving me well at the time. The kids would come in and we'd do showers, and I'd pour another drink. Then I'd put them in front of the TV and I'd get dinner started. This is where I started to relax and unwind and feel better. The kids would have their TV on. Sometimes I'd put my own show on my phone or some music, and I'd continue to drink as I cooked dinner. I folded the washing and watched over my kids. My family saw me, and I didn't want anyone else to. There was so much shame and guilt around the drinking. I'm a nurse. I knew better. I knew what it was doing to my nervous system, to my body, to my mind, to my emotions. I knew exactly what that alcohol was doing. And at the time, I just didn't know how to save myself. I continued in this pattern for probably about 6 to 12 months. And it became almost daily that I was drinking when I came home from work. It reached a point where we went away for a 2-week holiday, June, July school holidays. And I thought, right, I'll come back and I'll be great. However, it didn't turn out like that. First day I came back to work, I actually sat in my office, cried for 4 hours thinking, I can't do this. I'm a shit mum. I'm a shit nurse. What am I doing with my life? Why do I feel like this? I sat there for 4 hours repeating those same things over and over again until I finally called my boss and said, I need to go home. I feel sick. I put my sunglasses on and walked out of the hospital, hoping that no one would see me because I felt so much shame. Everything from the outside looked fine. I looked like I was coping. I looked like I was in my dream job with my kids, husband, a house and a car. Though inside I was slowly dying. The next day, I started having a panic attack when I woke up. And I'd had these a little bit before, though this day was the worst. I woke up, I was shaking, I felt this tightness in my chest. My heart was beating so fast, I felt like I could die. I called my husband and he helped me work through it. He was already at work and he helped me to get the kids to school. I got to the car park after dropping the kids off and the same thing happened. That feeling came back again. Deep in my chest, those thoughts of, I can't do this, I'm a shit mum, I'm a shit nurse, kept playing over and over and over again. I managed to get out of the car and convince myself that I was okay. I'm fine. I can keep going. And I walked the slow walk to the hospital. I walked up the stairs because I didn't want anyone to see me. I'd been crying. And I could not face going into my office. It was something my body just would not let me go there. Instead, I ended up walking to my boss's office. I walked in that door and I collapsed on the floor, hyperventilating, having a panic attack, thought I was going to die. She talked me down and she said, Kobi, you can't be here anymore. And that was the point where something needed to change. I was suicidal at that time and I went home and I thought, what am I going to do? The thoughts were still going through in my mind. I'm a failure. I can't even work anymore. It felt like I was failing myself, my family, my kids. Through the 5 months that I wasn't able to work for, I started a journey. I started to work out who I was outside of being a nurse. Because my whole identity was tied to nursing and being a mum and being a wife. I didn't know who I was outside of all of those roles. Those 5 months allowed me to start to realize who I was, to rebuild an identity and a relationship with myself outside of those identities. I started learning healthier ways to cope, how to calm my nervous system, how to shift those stories that I was telling myself in my mind, that I was learning and growing. I wasn't a shit mum. I wasn't a shit nurse. I was just coping and in survival mode. Our nervous system learns how to keep going. We will keep going and going until we reach that breaking point. Living in survival mode is where we're living in fight, flight, freeze. I was consistently living in that mode. And that's why my nervous system all of a sudden went, nope, we're done. My body could not keep going anymore. It was really important for me during that time to realize that healing isn't linear. Like we go up, we go down, we have good days, we have bad days. Even now, I still have days where I really want to reach for the wine. And I do, I drink wine still, though it's now about checking in with myself, using the tools and resources that I have to really support myself in those moments where I feel like having a drink, asking myself what is the reason that I want this, and making sure that my nervous system and my mindset are supported through that. So if you're standing in your kitchen with a glass of wine, pretending that everything is okay, I want you to know something. You are not weak. You are not failing. And you are definitely not the only one in this position. If I can change my life, you can change yours too. And so what I want to leave you with from today's episode is a sense of hope, maybe a little bit of inspiration. And I'd really love for you to actually take some action. Because what is changing our life without change? We can want to change. We can dream about change. And though until we actually do it, nothing changes. The other thing is that you don't need to reach burnout, that breakdown, before you do something about this. Recognize where you're at. Are you in survival mode? Are you pushing? And how do you need to start giving back to yourself? You get to choose how you create your life, rewrite your story. And I want you to know that you're not alone. If I can change my life, then you can change yours too. Thank you for listening to my Out of Her Mind podcast. My name is Kobi Pollock, and I'm a mindset and wellness coach, helping women to step out of survival mode and to change their life. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you've loved this episode, pop a comment below. What resonated with you? And share it with another woman that needs to hear this story. Until next time, take a breath and know that you are enough.